Okay, Cortana, who's going to win a playoff series first? The Toronto Maple Leafs or the Florida Panthers? Ah, yes, the gift that keeps on giving. Welcome back, Twisters, and hey there, hockey fans. Nick here, and today we're going to talk about 5 reasons why the Florida Panthers could win the 2022 Stanley Cup. This team is having one heck of a season. They're so fun to watch, and so maybe this is the year that they're actually going to make a deep run. So we're going to get into 5 reasons why, and joining me for this is Panthers superfan and YouTuber Jaws from the channel Flying Fluffy. Jaws, why don't you say hello?
So not long after the infamous summer of analytics the Florida Panthers gave us in 2016, I started Flying Fluffy as a reason to vent, a way to get the fans' voice out there. 6 years and 753 videos later, it's grown to a community of almost 1,500 subscribers. Now I do an hour live stream before each game, I do a recap immediately after the game, and then I do a review the next day. Now, Nick at Twisted Wrister asked me to give my thoughts on why I feel the Florida Panthers will win the Stanley Cup this year. Let's go.
It's been a real treat watching Jaws cover the Panthers in this thrilling season, so guys, show him some love out there, subscribe to his channel, and check out his content. Things are really starting to take off for him. Now on YouTube, I asked you guys, what do you think is the most likely outcome for the Florida Panthers this season? It seems like a lot of you out there think this team is poised for maybe even a Stanley Cup run, but I want to hear why down in those comments down below. Before we get into our 5 reasons why, I'll just throw up some team statistics, so then that way we can see how the Panthers are performing collectively this year. So through 46 games, the Panthers are winning the Atlantic Division by a slim margin, I might say, but they have the 3rd best points percentage in the NHL. They are tied for 1st in goals for per game with the Avalanche. They are 16th in goals against. They are tied for 12th when it comes to the power play. They are 19th on the penalty kill. They average the most shots in the NHL at over 36.5 per game. They are surrendering 32.1 shots per game, which is tied for the 20th fewest. And then they are 30th when it comes to faceoffs. I found that particularly surprising. Now on to our 5 reasons. Jaws and I will alternate our points. And so Jaws, you're up, bud.
Now the first reason the Florida Panthers will win the Stanley Cup this season are ridiculous depth. Just a little bit over halfway through the season, we have 8 players with 10 or more goals and 3 guys who, based upon an 82 game season, would score 40 or more. That's unheard of. Now, the depth doesn't just go around with the scoring here, okay? The role players galore we have is ridiculous. It doesn't matter who gets hurt, who gets suspended, who gets COVID. It's all the same thing. We plug somebody off the bench, we plug them in wherever they go into the lineup, and boom, 9 goals are in the back of the net. All right, sometimes it's only 6, but you get the point. Now, what has been the key to this ridiculous depth is rookie sensation Anton Lundell. A lot of people call him Baby Barkov Jr. Forget all of that. He does everything Barkov does, but he has something that Barkov actually doesn't have, which is that swagger. He's got that desire to shoot first. I'm telling you, this kid is going to be a beast for years to come.
Reason number 2, the Panthers have a great mix of consistency and clutch. So as Jaws was talking about earlier, of course the Panthers have some of the best depth when it comes to putting the puck in the back of the net and the roles that those guys serve. However, it's always important that your big horses out there, the guys who are earning the big bucks, are producing consistently on a game in, game out basis. And from the stats sheet, you look at guys, of course, like Ekblad, Huberdeau, Barkov, Bennett, and Sam Reinhart. These guys are consistently getting the job done for this club. So that's always good. That sets a good example for the other players out there on the club. But what about the entire team? So I look at it this way, all right? Who leads the NHL in first period goals? The Panthers with 61. Who leads the NHL in second period goals? Tied for first are the Florida Panthers with 61. Who leads the NHL in third period goals? Well, it's the Avalanche with 66, but the Panthers have 64. The final period is usually when you would see those game-winning goals, and when you look at that clutch factor for the Panthers, you see that a number of players have actually scored some timely goals for this club, so that's very good to see. And once again, speaking of clutch, who has the most wins in the NHL and the best winning percentage when trailing heading into the third period? The Florida Panthers. Next point.
Reason number 3, the return of Sergey Brabrovsky. Now, he's not quite got the numbers of Vezina, Bob, but it's close enough. Certainly better than he was the first 2 years with Florida. He's rested coming off of last season. I believe it was only 38 games that he played. And he gets a break from time to time thanks to the steady, if not spectacular, play of Spencer Knight as his backup. But Brabrovsky's worked on a number of things, including lessening the 5-hole goals. He gets that paddle down from time to time, and he's not moving around as much. He's not relying so much on speed anymore as he is relying on being in a more sound position. Now, I know the knock on Brabrovsky has been, how's he going to do in the playoffs? Nobody's more aware of that than the Florida Panther fans. He's going to be okay. We've got a team that can score in bunches, so we don't need him to be perfect, but I believe he's going to be good enough.
Point number 4. The defense is not exactly stellar, but it can get the job done. So we'll take a look at a few numbers here. First of all, the team is allowing a lot of high danger chances, 359 compared to the league average of 290. However, opponents are only converting 9.3% of the time versus the league average of 11.5%. And then you compare 9.3% from this year. Last year it was actually 13.6%. So these guys are actually able to get the timely saves and defensively clamp down at the very last millisecond. Second of all, of course, we all talk about Barkov. He won the Selke this past year. Anton Liddell could certainly be in that conversation as soon as maybe even this year. But there's one other forward that we're not talking about when it comes to defensive reliability, and that's because he's been injured this whole year. He just returned from his conditioning assignment, and that is Noel Achari. This guy hits everything that moves out there. He can block more shots than just about any forward in the NHL, and his defensive efficiency numbers are quite superb, I have to say. So having this guy take a defensive role, kill penalties, he led the team, the whole team, when it came to killing penalties last year, that can help take some of the weight off your star talent in the defensive zone. So then that way they can play a little bit more offensively. So having him back is going to be completely integral. And lastly, let's talk about those defensive pairings. Now, we all know that Uyghur and Ekblad not exactly getting the job done out there when it comes to shutdown defense, but they do have a very good second pairing in the form of Gustav Forsling and Radko Gudas. Now, Gudas, I certainly was critical of his play in the postseason this past year, taking some bad penalties. However, Forsling has really solidified things back there for the goaltending and the rest of the team around them. Brandon Montour is part of the third pairing. I like him in that sort of role. They really don't have that sixth defenseman completely locked down, I don't think. Now, Lucas Carlson was one of them. They have Chad Prisky, but you also have Marcus Nudavara. If he's able to return to the postseason, that should be a benefit to this club. But I do think that with all the forward talent that they have, they could certainly trade off some of that to get a guy like Ben Sherratt. I know that Jaws and his crew were talking about him around the trade deadline, so then that way you solidify things back there for Brabrovsky and company. Brabrovsky.
Now, my final reason might surprise you, but I think the biggest reason why the Florida Panthers will win the Stanley Cup this year, the fans. Not even going to lie to you. I know the fan base of the Florida Panthers has been a joke in the NHL for a long time. We're here. We're old, we're crusty, we're rusty, and we're kind of pissed off that it's taken this long. But damn it, those of us that stuck around, we've stuck around. Now, in terms of the fan base, I know personally the channel has doubled in size in the last year. Views have doubled and tripled. But don't just take my word for it. Go to a game or watch a game. Last game we had over 18,000 fans in the stands. They're screaming and chanting, "We want 10." They're doing the wave. It's a beautiful thing. Telling you. Our home record, best in the NHL. It's the fans. No team's going to want to come into that building come playoff time. And that's why I think my Panthers can win the Cup this year. Thanks again, Nick, for inviting me to do this. Now, as for my channel, as the season goes on and into the playoffs, I'll be taking on more NHL content, including full game streams. And we're going to have more interviews with more ex-NHL players. We've already had Randy Moeller, Billy Lindsay, and there's more to come. So please, appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. My name is Eric. My friends call me Jaws, but remember, Fluffy is the dog.
Wonderful segments there, Jaws. Thank you so much for joining the channel and hope to team up with you again soon. Guys, make sure if you haven't already, check out Flying Fluffy on YouTube. Really interesting segment at the very end there about fan atmosphere. That is something that we saw grow in places like Nashville and Vegas and Carolina, and hopefully we get a chance to see that here in Southern Florida. And at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, there is that one other intangible, and that is Jumbo Joe Thornton. This guy, 25 years in the NHL. Get him a cup. Get him a cup. Tears will be streaming down my face. Now what to watch next? Well, make sure you check out my 5 Reasons Why playlist. We'll have a new video every Thursday for each NHL playoff team. And additionally, you can check out my trade deadline targets video and my NHL power rankings for the second half of this season. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you show your support with a big thumbs up. Subscribe down below if you haven't already. I'll see you Twisters around for more 5 Reasons Why and other hockey content on this channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, I'm Nick, and I'll catch you Twisters later. Ciao.